I was in the hospital for like 2 months. No use of my lower extremities, legs, or whatever. I'm in a wheelchair. What a lot of people don't know is the first time I'm able to kind of stand somewhat, I'm in rehab, therapy, learning how to walk again, and then it hit me again.
Damn.
So I get booted out of rehab, back down into the hospital floors. I have to
Wow.
go through the whole 2 week battery of tests,
Yeah.
MRIs for crazy amounts of time. Then this time I'm in a wheelchair. You know, I think through all of it, the big takeaway is I think if I didn't slow down, if I didn't take my foot off the gas,
Yeah.
something would have happened. And I think this is kind of some of that. If that makes sense.
I see what you're saying.
It made me slow down and realize I got to put more energy in different buckets in my life. With my kids, my wife, or friends, or whatever it is, and just slow down. And like when you go back to talk about appreciating the stuff you do, slow down and be like, man, you just did a shoot.
Yeah.
Like, take it in.
Yeah.
Slow down. The next project will come. So I think it's taught me patience.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Today we're joined by Damon Brown, known professionally as Creative Lou, a multidisciplinary artist whose vibrant work spans public murals, illustrations, and product design. From his roots here in Seattle's Central District to collaborations with Starbucks and Brooks Running, Damon's art blends cultural storytelling with what he calls complex simplicity, inviting viewers to complete the narrative with their own imagination. After facing a life-altering health crisis that temporarily left him paralyzed, Damon's resilience and artistic vision have only strengthened. His powerful pieces like Rose Up challenge perspectives on Black identity while also celebrating joy and community. This is going to be an inspiring conversation with an artist whose work transforms public spaces and sparks meaningful dialogue about culture, representation, and the healing power of creativity. This is the UpNUp podcast. Enjoy the show. Yes. Welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, you're tuned into the UpNUp podcast on the UpNUp network. I'm your host, Rebel.
And I'm DJ Earn, man.
What's up, brother?
Good, man.
How you feeling?
I'm loving the energy in here.
Yeah?
Right now, yeah. You know, we had a good little warm-up, so
Yeah.
let's get the show on the road, you know?
I'm blessed, bro. Every episode, every day.
Yes, sir.
I'm thankful, grateful for everybody in the room, obviously. And if this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the show. As I stated, this is the UpNUp podcast. This is the podcast where we're focused on cultivating culture.
Yes,
We do that by providing amazing stories of individuals, groups, movements, the hustlers, the shakers, the ones taking the doors off the hinges. I stole that from Jesse, bro. I'm going to start using that. But ultimately, putting it down right now, not only for all of us currently here, but for the next generation, right?
Yep.
That's what we're doing it for. Again, always want to make sure we're shouting out and saluting and spotlighting our dedicated and loved supporters, encouragers, you know what I mean? We call them family up here, obviously.
Yeah.
So shout out to the family. And if this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the family, right?
Yep.
Yeah, man. Like you said, let's get the show on the road, right? I heard you, bro. I'm always excited, man, to come in and do these episodes. I feel like we're privileged, right? Like this is work, but we're privileged to be able to come in here and connect and learn in real time.
Every time.
Today's guest is someone whose gifts, I would say, are being used as a vehicle, right? Not just for change, but for freedom creatively and socially too, right?
Yep.
He's definitely a true culture cultivator. He's keeping everything he's doing on the up and up. He's a Seattle-based multidisciplinary artist whose work spans across various areas, whether it's public art, whether it's illustration, whether it's digital painting, product design, you name it.
Yeah.
This brother's got his hands on a lot of different things, creatively, artistically, socially. He's a community leader, a builder, someone whose representation within the arts is opening doors right now, but I feel like it's going to open doors for the next generation and for the future, right?
Yep.
Super honored to have him in the building. So without further ado, let's just get straight to it. Our guest is none other than the good brother himself, Damon Brown, aka Creative Lou. Can we get a round?
Yeah.
Give it up. Give it up. How you doing, brother?
I'm great. I'm great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being here. I always say things are right on time. You know, they're overdue, but they're right on time, right? But how you feeling? How's the day treating you?
Day's good, man. You know, little PT.
Yeah.
Good news from the doc. So things are going in the right direction. So I'm feeling good today.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
There you go, man. Great to have you
Yep.
here.
Yep.
So, just to get you up to speed here, we start every episode with a quote of the day.
Okay.
Right? Something to get the vibe started. Convo right.
Yes, sir.
Take it away, Erm.
All
Brother
right,
man.
man. So the quote of the day today is creativity is seeing what everyone else has seen and thinking what no one else has thought.
Like that. Who said that quote?
Einstein.
Mm.
Yeah. That I was like, yeah, me too. I was like, what?
Albert?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a bar though.
That was.
Can you run it back?
Yeah. So the quote is creativity is seeing what everyone else has seen and thinking what no one else has thought.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that quote?
It's puzzly, but I like it.
Yeah.
It's a deep one.
Yeah.
I went to Oppenheimer for a minute. I don't know why, but nah, it's a deep one.
That's deep.
Yeah.
No, that's real.
Yeah.
So Damon, man, obviously the platform is built on letting people obviously use it to share about their journeys, right? And the paths they've traveled. But before we get into your journey, I love to always ask guests about the seasons they're in. I feel like we all go through different seasons, right?
Mhm.
Comes and goes.
Mhm.
How would you describe the current season you're in right now?
It's the comeback season. I think things have been going well. Had a little setback, but I'm ready to go deeper with my art,
Mm-hmm.
open some new doors. I just feel like something's on the horizon. So
Mm.
I think it's the comeback. Got
Mm.
time to dig into my practice a little more. So yeah, I'm calling it my comeback season.
Mm.
Round 2. Ding ding.
Yeah.
You know?
That's real.
Yes, sir.
I feel like we're gonna have multiple comeback seasons in life.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm really probably on chapter like 1,000.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
but
fire.
You know what I mean?
No, that's
Yeah.
real though. That's real.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, definitely. So Damon, let's talk about like your early life growing up in Seattle. Like, what
Mhm.
was that like for you?
Shoot, I'm from Seattle, Washington, the Central District. So growing up to me was like, community, a lot of running around, kids, breakdancing was kind of brand new, graffiti, a lot of music, a lot of history and culture in my community. So
Mhm.
I was inspired by a lot as
Yeah.
a kid. You know,
Yeah.
saw a lot. Uh, I got a deep family of actors and singers and that kind of thing, like we all do.
Yep.
But
yep.
for me, it was cartoons and Transformers and action figures and all that old
Mhm.
kid stuff, man. So I kind of had a whole little different fantasy or dreams that I wanted to do when I was young,
Yeah.
Mm.
which
Yeah.
was I wanted to draw for Disney, and then probably take it on to do Marvel. Then I got into street art and was doing graffiti, and then I was like, well, where do I need to take this? What do I need to do next? And went to college and tried to pick up the brush and charcoal and things like that out there.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then kind of I won't say I had a tough time out there, but they didn't really know what to do with me because I was coming from graffiti and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So I kind of picked up the techniques and things that they wanted me to learn, but had my own style. And yeah, we guess we'll get into that.
Yeah.
sir.
And where
I'm-
things that went.
I'm actually
Yep.
curious because I feel like obviously Seattle's a totally different Seattle
Mm.
than when you were growing up, right?
Mhm.
But in terms of the arts, like, do you feel like you gained confidence in the arts as you were growing and as you were young, or like, you know what I mean? Like, was it popular? Was it the thing that people were all doing, or was it kind of your thing, and then you were like, this is what's gonna carry me through?
It was my thing that I was doing. I mean, I think as kids we were all drawing and doing things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And then it kind of became not the cool thing to do,
Mm,
especially when 88 hit, 86, different kind of substances hit the streets.
yeah.
So then I think art had a popular wave with graffiti,
Mm,
and then it had another wave where people wanted jackets painted,
hmm
things like that. And then later on in life, oh, do my flyer, can you draw me something? But
Yeah, yeah.
it wasn't really that popular.
Got you.
Mhm.
Got you. Because I feel like that is part of the artist's journey, standing
Yeah.
out, right?
I really tucked it.
Mm.
Like, we'd hang and do things in the streets and everything, and then I come home and be drawing until 2, 3 in the morning.
Wow.
Damn.
You know?
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I really tucked it.
That's
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
Well, I guess what about like cartoons and stuff like that? Like, kind of like intrigued you about art?
It was simple, but it was very simplistic, right? Like black outline and colorful shapes, but there was a lot more to it.
Yeah.
It was simplistic, but it had levels to it to me,
Yeah.
right? Dancing rats and whatever Disney was doing. And
Yep.
then when I got into Japanese animation, they were able to keep it simple, but it was like now you're starting to see human people, and it was a little different, deeper subject matters.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was that for me, and then graffiti was like, what? Like now I can take my sketches and put them on big walls.
Mhm.
It was something about sneaking out late at night,
Yeah.
painting. It just had a whole vibe to it.
Yeah.
It
Thrill.
also went with the hip hop that we were heavy in.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of like the culture, kind of
Yep.
trying to emulate New York, obviously.
Mhm.
at the
Yeah.
Time.
Mhm.
And we had some dope artists in Seattle that had
Mhm.
migrated from New York and things, but I never thought I was as good as them.
Mm.
You know,
How do you know where you're at? Because you know what I'm saying. Obviously, art is subjective, but like,
Yeah.
how do you know? Okay, I'm getting there, or I'm becoming better, or I'm always curious about how an artist's journey develops and gets to a point
Mm.
where they get the confidence to know that, yo, like I'm really him. You know what I mean?
Wow, I'm not gonna say I'm him. I
No,
think
yeah,
a
I'm
little
not
more
putting
humble
you in
than
that position,
Yeah,
but like,
I know where you're
how do you
going, but
gauge the progression? I guess.
I think we all follow somebody, right? I think we're all inspired by somebody.
yeah.
Like a photographer, a musician, a singer,
Mm-hmm,
and I think you emulate that. I think you start off emulating,
mm-hmm.
and then you kind of develop your own style.
There you go.
But I think the tough part is being confident in what you do
Mm-hmm.
and not trying to emulate.
Yeah.
I think you see so much stuff on your Instagram feed now. This is a lot of artists that are just copying artists, because they think that's what it is. But eventually, you just got to come up with your own style.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you, I learned the hard way. I did so much stuff on my own. I learned how to do bodies, paint, do all of this, thinking I had to do it all. And then when I finally got my first design job, I come on the scene and I'm like, what? You guys can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do
Yeah.
that. Oh,
Yeah.
you're hiring a person to do that, and you hire a person to do that.
Yeah.
So I always was 10,000 hours
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
4 different categories.
That's real. That's
So
real.
I always felt like I was ahead.
Yeah.
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 And you can always contribute.
Yeah. As far as like, becoming a style that people like, I think, like you said, it's subjective.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think I just worked on it.
Mm-hmm. That's real.
Mm-hmm.
That's real.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's talk about like I know you touched on it already, but the transition into college, going to Washington State.
Yeah.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs. We got some
Cougs.
Cougs in the building.
Throw it up.
Yeah.
Throw it up.
So yeah, what was that experience like for you?
Man, it was
Yeah.
like,
He took a pause. He took a real
Yeah,
pause.
yeah.
Like, hold
Yeah.
on, bro.
Pause. I
That's
mean-
definitely yeah.
Yeah.
Takes you
It was
back.
pause-worthy, huh? Nah, I mean, just, college was college, right? We don't got to go into that.
Yeah.
Football games, parties,
Yep.
education, all that on your own, away from home. As far as art, I think when I first went into the art building, I'm like, whoa. You're seeing people painting, drawing, sculpture all through the building.
Mm-hmm.
But my issue was nobody looked like me.
Mm.
Yeah.
Nobody, you didn't even have to look like me, but just nobody was where I was from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It wasn't, I never took any art classes prior to that, except one class my grandmother, put me in when I was young, some illustration class. But so it took me a while to just adjust. And I think I was a little reserved.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
I didn't go in and embrace it. I kind of had this shell, like from coming from the central
Yeah.
Seattle.
Yeah.
I moved this way. I'm into this, and they just weren't like me.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
feel like environments like that stifle your creativity? Like, do you feel like your creativity was stifled during that time because of that?
I do. So I would blame it on that system a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
because I mean, you have to fight through it and figure it out. But
sure.
yes,
Yeah.
if I would have had more people that were like me
Yeah.
in the art program, I'm sure I could have went farther. But then at the same time, would it have just been a whole bunch of the same?
That's real.
Right. So my boy, when I first got there, his name was Hassan Kirkland. He was like me, and this other guy I used to call Raspberry Ray. If you're out there, man, look me up, man. He was from like Florida, but he showed me. I was like, okay, he's like me. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? And he
yeah.
was in the art program, and he was deep, so he kind of helped me get through it.
That's real.
Yeah,
That's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just because I mean I think about our experience as well, and it's kind of like you got to adjust. I think a lot of people don't think about like, oh, I'm going to a whole new place or I'm going to a whole new environment.
Right.
I can't like everything ain't gonna be the same, so I gotta like I need time to figure stuff out, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it was new, and it was something that I had to get used to. So
Yeah.
before I went there, I had applied to go to Cornish Art Institute.
Mhm.
When I went up there, I was like, "There's no way," like just what I was on.
Mm,
And then it was kind of similar out there.
That's
but There
real.
was more people I could escape to.
that's real.
Yeah.
So,
So, how do you feel like coming out of Wazoo? Like I always say, no matter what school you go to, you're not the same person
yeah,
leaving
definitely.
as you were when you came in,
Definitely,
right? So, like as you were leaving, and now it's time to kind of, okay, it's time to get busy. It's time to get into my career field or whatever the case is. Like, what was that transition like, and like, what got you kind of your first opportunity to like practice?
when I got out, I was, you know, and we can get into this too. You know, I felt like the timer had started.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I didn't know really, you know, school might be different now, but they don't really prep you for the real world.
That's
You know,
right.
Nobody gave me any leads and said, "Hey, knock on these doors and go in."
Mhm.
So when I got out there, I didn't know really what to begin. I didn't really get into my field. You know, to be honest, sure, we could put it all out there. You know, I talked to schooling to let me do a semester at home.
Mm.
So I took the student loan money and went and bought a Mac.
Okay.
I bet on
Mhm.
myself.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So when I got back, I was starting to do CD covers and
Wow.
do all those kind of things. So I was starting to get a little income with the graphics.
Okay.
end.
Okay.
So my first real graphic job was wrapping cars,
Wow.
vinyl
Oh,
wrapping
wow.
cars.
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
You know, I would do and it wasn't even me creating them. I was just doing the stuff for Pepsi and moving the stuff around and then
Got it.
wrapping cars. But
Wow.
see, to me, I was on a computer. I had
Yeah.
a job. You know,
You're getting
so
busy.
I was,
Yeah.
yeah.
How did you feel like your art was like evolving at the time? Like when you came back, you were rapping cars and doing CD covers and stuff. Did you feel like you were going through kind of like an evolution process at the time?
I think I was going through an evolution process, but it wasn't what had inspired me to come out, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking at communication arts and all these graphic magazines from overseas and in seas, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I should be at an agency,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
I for years I could never crack those doors. I didn't know really what I was doing, so I didn't have anything to bump it up against. I was making money
Yeah.
Yeah.
and doing things, but it wasn't what I
Yeah.
thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
That's real.
Right? If that makes sense.
That's
yeah,
real.
Yeah. And I didn't have any mentors to be like, "You're doing all right." Or,
Yeah.
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 No, this is amazing, bro, because I think what you're sharing is like, regardless of the time period, like it's everybody's gonna have their own journey.
Yeah.
But I think you kept the art alive. You found ways to keep the art alive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that's important. I think
Yeah.
especially for young artists who are coming out of school who might go through that, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I came out wrapping cars,
Mm-hmm.
then web
Mm-hmm.
came out. So then it was web design.
Okay.
So I go back to school and do web design,
Okay.
and then UX and all the other things that have changed.
Yeah, yeah.
Over time. So right when I eventually was like, okay, I got to feed my kids and family. This art thing ain't really working out. Corporate, I'm in corporate trying to chase titles.
Mm-hmm.
They're eluding me. I'm not knowing my worth. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Getting
yeah.
underpaid, but I'm your superstar designer. Just not knowing my value being in these corporations. So right when I was going to turn my back on it, boom, you know, I did the art thing just blew off.
Yeah. What was that like being in still doing art, still doing design, but then in a kind of corporate environment? Because I think,
What was that like working?
yeah, what was it
working
like
there?
working there?
I think that's when I learned the polish. I learned the industry stuff.
Okay.
I knew not to have too many elements on a flyer.
Got it.
I knew what it took to sell. I just knew the balance, the real recipe, the formula for success
Got it.
per se
Got it.
within a controlled environment.
Got
right?
it. Got it.
You know, yeah.
That's real.
So I learned a lot, worked with a lot of clients.
Yeah.
So I think I really got that industry chops.
That
and
exposure.
That exposure.
Yeah.
And not only that, you got to produce hits
Mm-hmm.
and fast.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't like it, you got to come back with another one. That's a hit, you know?
Yeah.
And you build up that muscle to just keep producing hits.
Yeah.
And then you're really in competition with your employees. At least I was. I took
Yeah.
on the mama mentality.
Okay.
You know, I'm in
Shout out Kobe.
competition. Yeah,
R.I.P.
Kobe.
Yeah.
I'm secretly in competition with my peers. Not in
Yeah.
a way where I'm not talking to you or anything, but
Yeah.
just like I'm gonna borrow some of your style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see what you're doing. I like that.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. I'm gonna take a little of
Yeah.
your recipe.
Yeah.
You know. And when I finally got out of it, I didn't realize how many years I was in this competitive mentality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially
Yeah.
in arts.
In arts and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't ask the right questions. You know,
Yeah.
like what do you do? How'd you do that? And it's
Yeah.
not that. It's more flattery. It's more like
Yeah.
like just to learn and add to my knowledge.
That makes
you know?
sense.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
So what led you to finally just be like, I'm about to go do my own thing?
Not the money.
Yeah.
It just I just my age and where you feel like you should be. Should you have a senior on it? Should you have a director on it? And I just realized this system ain't gonna let me get to where I need to get. So I
Yeah.
left art, and it was hard to do. And I went into UX.
Okay.
I did a UX program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got out of UX. Turned my LinkedIn on. Let me do a couple of interviews just to get the chops ready to go into UX. This lady at a company was like, "Man, you're extra talented. Hire me. How would you like overseeing this team?" And I was like, cool, let's do it. At that time, I also told myself I was just gonna put some artwork out
Okay.
and just make $50 a day, pay
Yeah.
my phone bill or something
Yeah.
like that.
Mm.
My boy was at my cousin's house and was like, "Man, what you been up? I ain't seen you in a while." And I'm like, "Actually, I'm doing some art." So to my Instagram, he was like, "Oh man, this is dope, man. You wanna do Eyes of Art at Seattle Center?"
Okay.
So then I'm defaulting back to the old me.
Yeah.
It's that drag. Let me get back to you. I went home and I was like, I gotta quit doing this, man.
Yeah.
This is what I prep for. So I put the Playboy card, not Playboy card. It was like Pierre Bourne and Cardo or something.
Okay.
Went to the coffee shop and just busted out like 10 pieces, man. And showed up at the show. My boy was there. He showed me what to do. He's like, bring some of this, that. Sold out of everything I came with.
Wow.
From there, led to a King 5 interview where they came to the studio. And the rest has just been history.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's it. What was the biggest lesson from that you can take, looking back on it now?
Man, you got to stick with it.
Yeah.
You really got to stick with it.
That's real.
I mean, we're talking about drawing from 2 years old to that hitting when I'm 47, man. If somebody would have whispered in my ear when I was 12, man, this is going to happen for you at, 40.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have stuck with it. That's
Yeah.
a lot of years to stick with something.
Yeah.
That's real.
You know what I mean?
That's
and right
real.
when I was ready to turn my back on it and be like, okay, enough's enough. Maybe I've done enough.
Yeah.
I've tried to exhaust this. I need to, and then it just.
That's how it usually happens, though.
Yeah.
It's like that the image of the mine digger.
Yeah, man. That's
Oh,
yeah.
what's
With
that
the
one?
diamond
It's one
on
of
the
the best pictures.
There's like the diamond. There's like 2 diggers, and then like there's a diamond on the other end of the
Okay.
of the wall. And this dude has like a little sliver left to mine, but he got tired at that point and turned around, went the other way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's another dude above him that's like about to get, like he's in the
Oh,
swing, so
wow.
it's like, don't give up,
Yeah, don't
that's
give
kind of
up.
like
Something just
the message behind, so.
something, just
Yeah,
don't
man.
give up, man.
That's
Yeah.
that's real, man. In doing kind of research on your journey, one thing that, because I mentioned in the intro, like a lot of the work you do, it travels, it makes impact, right? And it has intention behind it. Like you're not just creating. Obviously, the creations are yours, but
Right.
there's intention behind it. So, can you talk about that spark, that transition of when you learn about the power of public art? Public
Yeah.
art, community impact, because I think that's would you say that's what opened another door for you?
It definitely opened another door. So the way I didn't even know about public art.
Okay.
Not in college, not after. I knew it existed, but I didn't know how to get into it or
Mhm.
any of that. So I actually just applied for this program that the city put on
Okay.
and got in,
Okay.
right? And they kind of showed me how you work with budgets, everything that's involved in the back end.
Mhm.
And I was like, I like this.
Yeah.
And actually, corporate prepared me for that, right? Because now I can project manage
Yep.
projects.
Yeah.
I knew how to deal with budgets. I knew how to get people on the phone, get quotes, hound people. I just knew how to project manage from
Yeah.
corporate. So when I look back on it, I'm like, oh, that had to happen for this to
Prepared you.
prepare me, right? So then I realized, oh, shoot, I can do public art and do art projects that are going to last for 30, 40, 50
That's right.
years until
Yeah.
the building tears down. And I'm telling community stories,
That's real.
right?
That's
and then
real.
as I'm starting to dig deep into public art, I'm like, wow, this is interesting.
Yeah.
The same amount of creativity that I breathe in the life in a picture, I can really make a sculpture or a metal artwork that's going to live on and make a neighborhood proud.
Yeah.
You know, I always wanted people to say, like, because I live in Rainier Beach, you know, so I always wanted people to be like, oh, instead of make it right at the Safeway, make it right at this gigantic mural.
Yeah.
You know, the mural.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I wanted that. That's some of the goals that I have.
That's real.
To change the landscape.
That's
with my
real.
creativity. So yeah, I mean, I'm trying to go global, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to have something in the desert or somewhere where people get on the plane, and
Yeah.
if we out here, we gotta go out there and see that. That's what's moving.
And again, it's gonna live on past
Live
you,
on.
way past
way past
all of us. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I think that's the powerful thing about knowing that I'm making a contribution.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
I didn't know public art was gonna happen
Yeah.
at all.
Um, for the artists out there
Mhm.
who you feel like that's a route they know is possible because they've
Mhm.
probably seen a lot of people such as yourself and others do it.
Mhm.
Like, what's some advice you'd give to them in terms of like going down that route and how to approach that?
Go on the journey for one.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what's gonna lead, but you know, respect the craft. Like, do some research into it. Learn about it, study about it. You know, reach out to other artists. Just mentor. Just do it. It's there. If you want to do it, it's there.
Yeah.
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 Can't
Man.
guarantee it to happen overnight or the next day, but
Yeah.
go for it.
You gotta
Yeah.
keep showing
Yeah,
up.
Go for it. Yeah.
I also definitely want to ask you, why the name Creative Lou? Like, what's the story behind that?
Oh yeah. So growing up, man, there was this you guys probably listen to Larry June?
Yeah.
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 Yep.
You heard what he has Herm Lou?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
Herm Lou used to be on a lot of rap albums when I was younger.
Oh,
And it
okay.
was hilarious because he would give that positive message. You know,
Yep,
hey,
yep.
young man, da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And always the first track that kicked in was on some like street dope dealing something. So I always
Yeah.
thought it was pretty funny, you know. So my partners used to call me like Dame Lou.
Oh, got
So
you.
when I went to start my brand, they kind of teach you in art school or whatever, graphic school or whatever, that you should start it off of something that means something to you. Right? So maybe something all the homies used to say, or
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
or oh, I really love Nip. I'm gonna call my, you know.
Yeah.
So I just said I'm gonna run with Creative Lou,
Mm.
and I just go with the logo with the Lou in it. I don't try to put a .com on it because it's just gonna keep me going. I want to go
Yeah.
so hard
Yeah.
and do so much that you just see the logo.
Yeah.
You'll go home and research it. I'm not gonna
Mhm.
lead the way, so it's just
Yeah.
gonna constantly make me make.
Because
the
it's
logo.
like people will have their own interpretation
Yeah, they'll have their own
eventually.
Yeah.
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 You kind of tap into the curiosity of people.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna be like, oh, what is that? Let me,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's real, man.
yeah, and I think that's tough to do.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
you know, but it's gonna keep me going.
Nah, man, that's
Yeah.
that's dope. That's a good question, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's where it came from.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Um,
And then if you see it, it's really like the camera. 'Cause I like it.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, the logo's nice though.
Thank you.
I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Little ode to graffiti.
Yep. Yep.
The camera thing.
That's
yeah.
real. That's real.
Yeah.
Now you've done a lot of great work, bro.
Thank you.
You know, I would love to touch on a couple notable collaborations you've been a part of.
Okay.
And maybe you can tell me your thoughts on them or how that came about. But one is the 50th anniversary Starbucks
Ooh,
poster.
yeah.
Like, what was that like? And what was it like having to do something that is representing kind of your culture? But then at the same time, doing it within, I'm sure they probably had parameters. I don't know. Like, yeah, right. Yeah, you know what I mean? But what was that experience like?
That experience was so I will say, like, at this point, because I had corporate, I've done a lot of things for different companies.
Got you. Yep.
So, but still, to be able to do a Starbucks poster kind of blew my mind. Just for a lot of levels. I've know the people that did the original ones, those artists. So to be able to be in that class with those artists is amazing. So when they called, I get an email saying, "Hey, are you interested in this? Sign this NDA," and then all of a sudden we'll call you at blah blah, and then the phone rings, and you have this conversation. So they give you the branding guidelines of what you can do. Here's the color palette; it needs to stay within here. So immediately, I'm like, it was to do the siren. So
Got you.
You saw what I created.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the collaborations you've done, they're all different, right?
Yeah.
They all have different reasons and meaning behind them. Like the Brooks running shoe.
Yep.
What was that like?
That was another amazing one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was a black themed marathon running shoe, right?
Yep.
Okay.
First black. It was to represent black marathon runners and runners just in general.
Okay.
First shoe collab.
Got it.
Now, mind you, I'm a shoe head too. So to be able to do a shoe was something I've dreamed about and sketched when I was in high school. But for it to really come true was amazing.
Yeah.
So you want to know the approach to it and how I came up
Well,
with it? Or?
I just I just like to know like what's your takeaway? What's the lesson you got from that? You know what I mean?
The lesson was that, man. It was big to honor to them to come to me because of my hard work in the industry, that they saw me or somebody saw my artwork and was like, he'd be a good person for this job. But then to take that, what that shoe meant, and to be able to put that in my hands and in my mind to create something for the running culture was big.
Yeah. They're all moments,
Yeah, they're really
because sometimes people do so much. I don't know if y'all ever get a chance to stop and like reflect on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's something I've learned, especially with what I got going on now. To slow down and appreciate it. As creators, you create something, you bring something to life, you're exhausted, you take a break from it, and then I'm immediately on to something else. Right? So a lot of it, I come back around when it comes out, and I'm like, okay, let the emotions come back out.
There you go.
Again.
There you go.
And I think I heard a actor say that. I didn't realize that the actors don't watch their movies.
Yeah.
Some of the time they're just sitting there and just be like, "Oh, I remember doing that scene at the Oscars."
Yeah.
But they ain't watch it at home.
You're right.
So some of these things I do and I'm involved and I'm on to the next. Until the shoe shows up at my thing and I'm like, "Oh,
I did do that."
Kick back
yeah.
in.
Yeah. Man, I seen the shoe on the site. The shoe's pretty fire. I ain't gonna lie.
Thank you. Yeah. You got to ask me about the challenges about those things because that was a unisex shoe.
Yeah. Well, we go ahead and touch on that.
It's just a unisex shoe, so I had to create something that was gonna fly with both sides.
Yeah.
Be impactful, but with that one, I could have really did anything per se with the shoe, right? I could have done really anything, but when I do some of those art projects like that, I try to put a lot of different Easter eggs in it. Right?
Got it.
I wanted that shoe to hop off that wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for us to wear them or whoever to wear them, and people be like, "What are those?" And it's gonna force you in telling the story, like, "Oh, this artist. These are black marathon running shoes or whatever." Or if you just like them and grab them because you're a runner, then all of a sudden you caught up in the movement.
Yeah. You're contributing either way.
You don't even know.
You
can't resist the flyness. So there's those kind of things that I try to put in these puzzles of art.
Got you. Got you.
Yeah, that's dope, man.
And then do you have, I'm sure you have a team and people that can support you with these projects, right?
What do you mean a team?
No?
Nah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious because like when it comes to creating a shoe, like, I'm sure there's people who.
Oh, well, Brooks is there to.
Okay, got you.
To oversee, just to oversee.
Got it. I like how he's like, team? No. That's fine.
I kind of want to ask, like, what's the like approach when you first get like called to do a project? Like, what's your like, I guess your process kind of
Mm-hmm. As soon as the timer starts, I just get to thinking,
Yeah.
of what it's gonna be, and I just kind of come up with an idea. So when I had kids and just working in design per se, not just the art field, but just design, you got to come up with so many ideas so fast,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
quick
Yeah.
that I learned how to just sit here with you guys and see something and be like, oh, that's gonna be the shoe, right?
Yep.
And then all I need to do is sit in front of the computer or on my drawing pad
Mhm.
or pen and paper and just create it.
Yeah.
So a guy told me one time, man, you just don't pick up a hammer and nails and everything and get to building the house.
Yep.
You got a blueprint and then you construct it.
Yeah.
So once I had the idea, it's just how I'm gonna cook it up.
Mm.
If I know we're having eggs or we doing sunny side, we doing scramble, it's just
Yep.
that I have that ability. now
Yeah.
just from being in the field for so long.
Yeah.
So sometimes those ideas come quick.
Yep.
The shoe came quick.
Yeah.
You would think it would be scratching the paper off. I was like, no, that's it. I got a thing in my gut where I'm like, that's it.
Mhm.
Well, that idea is it. Now I just got to
Yeah.
bake it up, and as I'm baking it up, I'm like, oh, it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
what I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
It was probably already there waiting.
Yeah.
It was something just waiting for you.
Waiting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then sometimes I'll cook it up, and I'll be like, I don't like it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like I'm cooking up something now, and I'm just like, I thought it was done, and I'm like, I look back, and I'm like, I don't like it, and then I
Mhm.
went to another direction.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
That I love that because it sounds like you're in control of your pace and your time, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean. I feel like you don't want to rush
No.
rush.
Yeah.
And I can create in my head.
Yeah.
So I can be in the car. I can
Yeah.
be watching TV. So much stuff is like, you guys know creators. My brain doesn't turn off. It's just a constant camera
Yeah.
or film rolling.
Yeah.
So, and I have the ability to just regurgitate stuff in my mind and be like, oh, remember when you saw that flower in Oakland that was blue and this? You
Wow.
should make that. You should add that to the shoe.
Yeah.
So I got to figure out ways to shut my brain off.
It's easier said than done, man.
Yeah.
No.
That's cool that there's like those type of stories behind it too. That's
Yeah.
like, that's dope.
Yep.
Yeah. So Damon, I did want to touch on
Mhm.
kind of something I think would be great for people to learn about your approach as well. Is like you're really intentional about representing kind of the culture and identity. Depending on the project, obviously.
Right.
But I wanna read a quote that you stated in City Lifestyle that I got. I think it's important for people to kind of like tap into it.
Yeah.
And you said, as a Black artist, my lens shines light on the inequalities, pain, and struggles my community has faced throughout time, juxtaposed with joy, nurturing, love, and celebration.
Yep.
Now, I love that, right? I love that because I think what it says to me is, I know what we've been through. I know we're probably going through, but at the same time, I know who we are,
Yep.
right? But in your words, like, how would you describe that approach and like what that means?
It means I try to show up, with everything I do,
Yeah.
If I can get us in the picture, I'm gonna do that. If I can make a diverse siren, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then sometimes if it's just a project for a corporation, there's not that opportunity. I'm gonna still show up as me
Hmm.
to let whoever know that we're on the level,
Yeah.
not beyond the level.
Yeah.
So open the doors for whoever's gonna come behind me.
That's
and
real.
inspire. So I make sure that I take my culture and everything and every aspect that I do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with the struggles and inequalities and all that stuff, I just got to fight hard. It's not easy to go through these doors, man.
Yeah.
A lot of these projects is BLM projects or First Black Marathon thing, and
Yeah.
sometimes that's frustrating.
Yeah.
Like bring me in for the release of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do I got
Yeah.
to do this to do that? But
Yeah.
the older heads will say, man, you got to go through them doors and
Yeah.
and do them. So I go through and I make sure I do it.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
real.
yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
We got to represent no matter where we're at.
We're at,
Yeah.
yeah. And these projects are doing numbers.
Yeah.
Like they really are. And I think a lot of organizations, some just check the box, some do it because they really feel it.
Yeah.
But I think when you put it out and they see how many people are soaking it up, it's forcing their hand and it's opening the door. And that's
Yeah.
why I try to really put out a A1 product.
That's real.
You know what I mean?
That's real.
Because working in corporate and doing these things for Red Bull and these different things, I know how to bring that level.
That's real.
So even when I was doing graphics for people, I used to tell people, man, who do you want to be? You want to be Gap? You want to be
Yeah.
Louis Vuitton? Because we're gonna produce something that's gonna level you up.
Yeah.
You feel proud about your logo and your company and your
That's
brand.
real.
Yeah, so it's the same thing with art and public art.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm a perfectionist
That's real.
when it comes to that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Nah,
a
that's why I said
perfectionist.
intentional, man.
Yeah,
like
I'm intentional,
it's
but I
cuts
need
through.
to, as I explore, I need to loosen that up a little bit because I'm intentional about every stroke, every line, every color.
Like a Dr. Dre on the beats.
Yeah, I get stuff out though.
Yeah. I hope Dr. Dre hears this.
For real.
Yeah, I put stuff out though.
I also want to ask you, like, what were some of, like, I guess when you do like public art, like murals and stuff, like,
Right.
what's the stuff you kind of got to go through to like get stuff done? You know what I mean? Because it is kind of like public buildings, public spaces. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
just the stuff I guess behind the scenes that we might not know. You know what I mean?
It's not for the faint of heart, man. I'm on one right now that I'm in constant contacts with architecture firms,
Yeah.
right? And just to be up to date, we're right now, before I get an installer to put the gigantic piece up, and we could talk about this project if you want,
Yeah.
they don't want to say, oh, you got to do this or that. So now I got to go talk to a structural engineer to make sure that the wall can hold it. So there's just all this technical stuff behind the lines.
Yeah.
Budget, like these budgets might be, $350,000, but the CAD guy or whatever might charge me 10. It might cost another 40 to have somebody come and install it. And then it's being fabricated in Mexico right now, so that's another X amount.
Yep.
So I got to learn how to do that budget, and the contract I sign is all on me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody else is going to take it.
That's real.
So everything as I'm learning just has to be buttoned up, and you just have to,
Yeah.
I'm on meetings with higher ups.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
And I think that I love that. That's a great
That's
question.
what I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
Because it's like, when we see it, it's kind of like, oh, somebody just pulled up,
Right.
put that in there is good, and then we just, but it's
Right.
like there's a lot, like
a lot.
talking to architecture, like
Yeah,
it's just like,
a
man,
lot. It's a lot. It's a lot, but I'm thirsty for it, right? Because
Yeah.
if I don't know this and suck it up and get excited about it,
yeah,
then I'm not going to get to where I want to get.
yep,
Yeah.
A lot of artists just want to do art, and that's fine.
yeah,
But can you be in a meeting?
mm-hmm.
Can you correspond? Can you get up in the morning and write these emails and
yeah,
check on this and project manage?
Yeah.
And some people can't.
Yeah.
But I know that you got to be able to do all that stuff to make it work. So even my first thing, you got to talk to the city. Oh, you can't have it close to this city. You can't have it here. You can't have it there.
Yeah.
All these different things. So you just got to be creative in your mind too.
Yeah.
So along this journey, I've also figured out that I'm just a creative problem solver.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
That's what it really comes down to.
That's real.
So if you give me some sticks and tell me this is the goal, I'm excited.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because I had to elevate from the 2D paper.
Yeah.
Doing effort.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah.
I love
hate
that.
To, I don't want to say it like that, but it's just.
Yeah, no, it's real because I
Yeah.
think like the question you asked is amazing because it's like, it's not just art, bro. It's a lot of different things that people see. And nowadays it's even more fabricated because of social media and stuff.
Right.
So we're only sharing our wins and highlights and showing the final products.
Yeah.
And it's like, where's the context?
Yes.
Because that's going to take some time to go through. And then you're going to be bad at it starting out.
Yeah.
And you got to go through that and be okay with being bad at it and learning. And I think so I'm glad you shared that so that artists don't feel discouraged. They just know this is a part of the process.
It's part of the process, and sometimes you make no money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I rather for this large project on don't take this for real, but I'd be willing to
Yeah.
give the money away in order for it to come out like I wanted to because it's my portfolio piece to move forward to bigger projects. Right.
Yeah. That's real.
So I'm not going to shortchange it, but that's the dangers as an artist because you got to know when to throttle it back. If you only pay for 100 hours, I could give you 120, 150, but I can't give you 300 hours.
yeah, yep.
You know what I mean?
That's
Or
right.
sometimes you got to know when to give them 300 hours if you think it's going to open the door for something down the line, right? So
That makes
that's
sense.
that's a gut thing too.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's like you're constantly gauging, like how
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
much the work,
Work. Or if you don't got X amount of this up front, but I know your reach is this amount,
Yeah.
then I might be willing to take a little off because your reach is this.
Yep.
But a lot of people will throw their reach and try to shortchange you, and I can't do that to the industry.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because
Yep.
there's other artists below me. So if I do this for this low ball amount,
Yep.
because I can do it and whip it out real quick, and it's not a big deal, that's not fair to the young artists behind me.
Yep.
For me to do something for $200 when really, as an artist, we should be getting X amount.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's that balance out there too.
That's real,
You know,
man.
and I'm trying to work for my brand to get up so that I can
Yeah.
demand what I want. Bro, I'm finally the age I am, and people are paying for my style.
Yeah.
Years
Mhm.
before that,
Yeah.
it was can you do this and that. So
Yeah.
that's again why I can do so many different things.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Nah, but it's inspiring, man, because I
Yeah.
think it's like it's how it's supposed to be sometimes, you know. And I think that's what it is. It's like you put those 10,000 hours, and it starts to just the universe starts to respond in different ways.
Yeah.
I love that, man. I do want to give you a chance to speak because I think you did talk about the good news you got from the doctor.
Yeah.
But not too long ago, you did go through health crisis, right? I would love for you can talk about it and kind of describe it, but I think it's powerful because you did put out a piece about it.
Yeah,
I did watch that.
It's
It
out
was
there.
super
Yeah.
dope, man.
Yep.
But yeah, if you could just kind of talk about kind of coming out of that. If I'm not mistaken, you had something that affected your spine.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. I had just to give you just a brief trailer.
Yeah.
You could catch it online or whatever. But yeah, I woke up, sandy legs. Like, ooh, what's going on with my legs? You know, let me just take a shower. Maybe I slept wrong. Legs still sandy. Go get a massage. Legs still sandy. I was like, I got to go to the hospital. By the time I went to the hospital, I couldn't walk. So I was in the hospital for like 2 months. No use of my lower extremities, legs or whatever. I'm in a wheelchair. What a lot of people don't know is the first time I'm able to kind of stand somewhat, I'm in rehab, therapy, learning how to walk again, and then it hit me again.
Damn.
So I get booted out of rehab, back down into the hospital floors. I have to
Wow.
go through the whole 2-week battery of tests,
Yeah.
MRIs for crazy amounts of time. Then this time I'm in a wheelchair. So they don't even try to get me to walk or anything. They're just like, we're going to teach you everything from the wheelchair level. So I'm like, wow, I'm in a straight wheelchair, man. I can't flip over at night. I can't sleep on my side. I can't get out the bed.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, yeah. But, you know, I think through all of it, the big takeaway is I think if I didn't slow down, if I didn't take my foot off the gas, something would have happened. And I think this is kind of some of that. If that makes sense.
I see what you're saying.
It made me slow down and realize I got to put more energy in different buckets in my life. With my kids, my wife, or friends, or whatever it is, and just slow down. And like when you go back to talk about appreciating the stuff you do, slow down and be like, man, you just did a shoot. Like, take it in. Quick, slow down. The next project will come. So I think it's taught me patience and to appreciate things a little more. Stop being my track. Now clearly I'm not in a wheelchair now. Walking around with a cane and a walker, but but when I left the hospital, I'll show you some pictures when we get off, man.
Now thank you for sharing that, bro. Because I after watching the video, I was just like, I was super inspired because I talked about it, but like you addressed it in a way where, man, this is a bad situation, but the spirit was like never wavered, right? Like you still were positive and you were still working, right? You were still creating and doing art. So I think that's amazing, man. The fact that you were still even doing your art during that time.
Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot through that, man. Like, you know, I think the Brooks shoes came out during that time. I didn't know if I should tell them what happened, you know. I was kind of like afraid to kind of tell people. I'm taking meetings with people. It's taking me because I'm in a hospital room. It has the T squares on the top. So anytime I got to get out of the bed to go to the bathroom or sit in the chair, they got to roll me to the side, put me in a harness, and lift me up across the sky of the room. So I'm having them prep me for that 30 minutes before a meeting. My back's hurting. I can't keep my body up just to have these meetings. because I don't know if people are gonna be like,
Yeah.
okay, he's done.
Yeah. Yeah.
But once I just let it out, it just didn't stop nothing.
That's real.
So one of my first outings were for the Starbucks cups I did.
Okay.
Got out the house, went to the Starbucks event. Man, that was the first time I was like, man, people treat you different at this level.
Mm.
Like they don't know what to do. Like, when you're down low and you're looking up, they don't really know how to think about it. It's different.
Yeah, it's a different perspective.
It's a different perspective. So that hit my heart a little bit. But then I think when people picked up on my energy, like, oh, this guy's just talking normally, and he's then it kind of broke the ice.
There you
but
go.
people really don't know what to do when when you're socializing and down. The other one was the Brooks event. The shoe release. They're gonna interview me. I haven't, like, I don't know if I'm gonna go to the bathroom with myself. I'm up in that spot for years. Like, I gotta. It's just difficult.
Yeah.
I don't think 75, 100 people in front of me, man.
Yeah.
My legs is, but I got through it.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about though. It's like that. I feel like it's a great, when it's a greater call and a greater purpose on you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're like, no matter what, I know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
And it's like, so I just want to commend you for that. Cause I
Thank
think even putting the video out, telling your story, like a lot of times those things are offerings, for the next person who might be going through that. So that's real, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. And I learned a lot from it. Still learning a lot from it. I learned a lot from it.
That's real, man.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's real.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also want to ask, like, because art is about like also expressing ourselves. So, did it kind of influence like going through what you went through? Did it kind of like influence your like creative perspective a bit, or?
It has. So, like when I was saying, like a lot of the work I do is really intentional.
Yeah.
And I want to loosen up and really put my feelings and stuff because I do come from a graphic background, so I know how to kind of do things that move and excite the crowd.
Right.
But I think this series of art that I have in my head that I just got to have the time to put down, I think it's going to tell that story of me being in the hospital.
Got you.
So like there's one I want to do, and I already got the name for it and everything. It's
okay.
called like Cherry Hill.
Okay.
Right. So I'm up in the hospital on Cherry.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So not moving.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Facing one way. So I'm looking out the window, and it's just a blue sky like every night. You know what I mean? With those towers.
Yep.
Red lights.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna paint that. So with these ones, I'm gonna really let loose.
Yeah.
And really put some emotion into them and what I went through.
Yep.
Some contortionist body stuff, and so that's gonna be
love
the one
it.
that's gonna.
I'm looking forward to that, man.
Yeah. Well, I used to sit there and dream about like getting out of that and walk around the wall.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use that one.
And it's like it's all a part of telling the story, right?
yeah.
I think we all have stories to tell, and I think finding whatever vehicles or mediums to do it.
Yep.
So like that's amazing, bro. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, man.
If I get through these corporate projects.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You've done a lot of great work. Even gave me that fly Lululemon bag. You know? Yeah, to give me the flowers. I was rocking that in Mexico. Like, I was like, who's that?
Yeah,
that was hard.
Yeah,
now, as we're kind of nearing the end here, I do want to give you a chance to like speak to what folks can be looking forward to down the pipeline. I know you're currently working on a project, right?
Yep, I'm working on so there's a few projects I can't really speak on, but stay tuned because I'm under paperwork in NDNAs. But one project that I can speak on is right up here on 105th. They're building a new fire station.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Fire Station 31.
Okay.
So look up the story of the original Fire Station 31 and some of the issues they've had with some of the firefighters that have passed because of the building or services.
Oh wow.
So just really look into that story. So this piece that I'm making is called A Better 31, and it's probably my biggest public artwork to date. And it's about 16,000 square feet.
Wow.
It's going to be this big, gigantic mosaic art piece that's on the side of this fire station. And it's basically represents the fire trucks coming in, but it represents the community they serve, past and present firefighters. And I think this is going to be the one that's going to open the doors for me to get
Yeah.
to other projects.
Wow.
So this is big. So this is fabricated in Mexico. Had the ability to go down there and see it being fabricated in Mexico.
Wow.
Take my kids down there to Mexico City.
Yeah.
For them to see it.
Yeah.
I think you know how the kids are. They're
Yeah. How do they respond to the art, man?
I think when they saw the magnitude of how big it was,
Yeah.
I think their jaws dropped. They're like, "Oh,
Dad's doing it."
Yeah, because they'll take the Brooks shoes and be like, "This ain't really my style," but they got them, and they see the Starbucks cups. So I mean, but I think that was like, whoa,
Yeah.
that thing is big.
Yeah.
Like, really, this whole facility is making this. So so that's gonna be pretty big. So make sure you come to the opening. It'll be ribbon cuttings. The mayor will be there. They'll probably give out some stickers. So that's big. I've done one out in Kirkland for another fire station.
Okay.
On the ground out there. But I wish I could talk about the other ones.
Okay. We might have to bring you back, man.
Yeah. I think
Definitely tap back in.
Yeah, nah,
in.
man.
I got. We got some stuff.
He's still cooking. Always cooking, man.
And then again, I want to work on those pieces I was telling you about. That's really gonna tell my story.
Yeah.
Of what I went through.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, that's dope, man. I just want to say thank you, man, because even like I was saying today, driving by Othello, and I'm just like, damn, that's crazy. It's just, it's like I never knew the story behind the art I would see. You know what I mean? So for me to see it and know that like you're behind that, you know what I mean? Or like, obviously like somebody look like me too. So I'm just like, I'm like, damn, it's kind of like, it's a good feeling to have that in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? So
and I'm trying to expose us to things that we don't know. I'm not knocking anybody's knowledge, but I don't know how many people probably didn't even know public art.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Who did it, or somebody that looks like them, or
it hits different when you know the person who made it.
Right.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah.
Our previous studio in Queen Anne, there's a mural of Chadwick Boseman. It's like all the different characters he played in different movies.
Okay.
And I remember I was parked up, and I saw the artist as he was finishing it up. His name is Desmond.
Desmond. Yeah.
You know Desmond.
Yep.
Okay,
Desmond. Yep.
I actually haven't, and so I seen him. I was just like, I'm posted up. Like I had somewhere to be, but I want to watch this. Right. Because you just appreciate someone putting in that time.
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of times when we see murals, we rarely get to know who did it.
Right.
So ever since I followed him, I went up to him like, yo, give me your business card. Like, what's your social media? I want to be connected to this. So that's real, man. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
It's different.
Now it's like it's over. It's like every time I'm driving with the homie, I'm like, bro, you know who did that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like
it feels good to tell people,
I
know who
feeling.
made this.
Yeah, exactly.
I know who made this. Yeah,
like,
that's real.
on. Yeah, to do the gym inside, to make sure we're representing the mural.
Yeah.
One in the ID, to even get one in Kirkland. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on. Like
Killing
Kirkland.
it.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And it's not even the mural, it's Kirkland for me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, so it's just those, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't want to say that art doesn't feel good, but it's just like different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, that's real.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
real.
Yeah.
You give it the reason.
Yeah, I gave it a reason.
Yeah.
So we got some other ones where I'm gonna put us on the stage, man.
Yeah, man, I love it, man.
Yeah, I love it, man. Because even when you said you first started, you're like, man, you just wanted to, put art out $50, put it in everybody's home. But it's like now the irony is like everybody's coming outside and seeing, your stuff.
That's
so
real.
Yeah,
it's just dope, man.
Yeah, and I met a lot of people along the way. Like I was telling you earlier, I kind of just had to adopt new people. That was a big thing for me, man. Is to go through doors I wasn't comfortable with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just go on the journey and embrace other people and just really figure this out.
Yeah.
I mean, to get where you're gonna get, man, you got to be around some different people, man.
That's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to, or you're not gonna grow, or you're gonna grow. It's just gonna be slow.
Mm, That's real.
You know?
I love that.
Yeah.
Exposure is everything, man.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's been a ride. It's been a wild ride.
Still going though.
Still going.
Still going. We still rolling. We still rolling.
Yes, sir.
So Damon, actually I did want to ask you this. I love asking guests this question, but when you look back at your younger self, what's some advice you'd give to him? If he was sitting right here.
It worked out. It didn't necessarily go the way you wanted to, but it worked out. Stick with it. Just stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just stick with it. It's be yourself, be you.
Mm-hmm. That's real.
Yeah, it's hard to do when you're young. It's hard when it's hard when you do something that everybody's not doing. You know, if you want to
Yeah.
play the trumpet or the clarinet or dance or do this, I mean, it's probably a little different now, but depending on your environment, but just stick with it.
Yep.
You know, I had a old college roommate that's hit me. It's been like 20 plus years probably since he hit me, man. He was like, I'm seeing you on. He was like, bro, do you know that when I met you, you stay with a pen and paper? Like he was like, everywhere you went and every time I saw you, any 5 minutes down you was sketching in this thing.
Yeah.
You know, but when everybody tells me these kind of things, right, because you get all these email messages, LinkedIn messages, I didn't see it that way.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
like,
real. That's real.
I'm sure somebody got a story of you, like they're not surprised what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, but you don't see it that way because you're
because you were just living your life.
I'm
living it. It's what I live. It's what I breathe. Yeah. That's real.
And even what I'm doing, what I'm now, I'm just like, what, everybody doesn't put this kind of degree of love into what they do in their craft?
Yeah.
They don't.
They don't.
But
They don't.
Yeah. But
It cuts through. It cuts through differently when you live it.
Yeah.
When you live it truly.
Yeah.
That's real.
So I would tell them stick with it. Yeah.
I love that,
Works
man.
out. Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah. Just go on the journey. That's my game. Go on the journey. You don't know where the journey is going to lead. Not at all. Just start.
Yeah.
Jump off the porch.
Just go.
Just go.
Yeah.
Just go. Yeah. And it's not always going to just be flowers and roses and rainbows either. And it's what you're going to do when you scrape your knee, man. You got to just keep going.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's real.
Nice.
That's a word. Everybody in this room definitely can attest to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to ask you, like, how can people get in contact with you? Site's dope again.
Okay.
Yeah. So if they want to get tapped into Creative Lou, get in contact with you. Like,
creativelou.com. Instagram is creative_Lou. LinkedIn is, my name is Damon Brown, so you can look me that way. And then I think at this point you could probably just Google me. There's this guy that I told myself too. He must be a writer. Shout out to him. But I'm trying to beat him too.
Yeah.
Mamba, but I want to win, but you don't know me. But
That's
yeah,
funny.
just look me up. You can look up Creative Lou online. I think there's enough on there now that it'll drive you to all the other.
Yeah. I found all the links. It
Yeah,
works, guys.
yeah.
yeah. So take a little time out of your life if you got it, and look me up, or and feel to reach out, man. That's one thing I do. Make sure that I give back. A lot of people call me. They're welcome to come to the studio, ask questions. I can share what I'm not gatekeeping on anything.
Yeah.
I'm not promise you I can get you in rooms with different people, but I can at least, answer the questions.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's real.
And that's what we need more of.
Love that, man. So before we do get you out of here, we ask every guest this question, this final question. So if you can, my brother, what's one word to describe what keeps you on the up and up, and why?
I'm gonna say resilience. Yeah, I mean, I know that's probably but I would just say resilience. I just don't give up. I just don't. If they tell me no, I'm gonna knock again. If they tell me no, I'm gonna knock again, and then I'm gonna build a door, and then I'm gonna build a company to go, to battle you. I'm gonna make it happen. You know, yeah. I don't want to get too deep, man, but the opportunities ain't the same as everybody else. But,
Yeah.
You make enough noise, it forces them to kind of have to rock with you.
Yep.
So it's resilience. And even through the health thing to keep going, it's for the youth, it's for the community, it's for the kids, it's to be that example. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
And hopefully
word.
I can downshift.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's all you need right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta stay resilient.
Real.
Yep.
Well, Damon, man, first off, just want to thank you for being here, bro.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Spending some time with us, sharing your journey.
It's an honor.
Inspirational, man. I'm sure those listening on the other end, watching on the other end, please take this, run with it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But with that being said, man, I want to wish you much success moving forward with everything you got going on. You got support with us here at the UpNUp always.
Always.
And with that being said, I think it's safe to say Damon Brown and Creative Lou are officially members of the UpNUp.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate
Thanks for having me. Yes.
To continue supporting the podcast and the entire UpNUp movement, be sure to rate, review, like, and subscribe.
As well as follow us at _the UpNUp on all social media platforms to stay connected with everything the UpNUp has coming your way.
Thanks for listening, and until the next one,
Keep it on the UpNUp.